Me again. On today's 30-minute mechanic, visor edition, trying something different here because sweat likes to run down in my face. And thought I would try this so the top of my head doesn't get hot. And I didn't want to use a sweatband and look like Richard Simmons or something. If you don't know who that is, Google it. All right, today we got our Rimflex gaskets right here. We got our Rimflex gaskets. We're going to throw the headers on for the last time, and then see where that takes us. So I may time lapse putting the headers on this time. I'm going to try my hand at that. So let's go. Now, we got to get this header off. I'm going to take this one off real quick for about the 100th time. I was looking through my header bolts, and I have 3 different styles of header bolts with 3 different size heads. But I have a full set of these weirdo ones like this that are, you know, a 5/16 thread right down here, but then they have a 10 millimeter head on them. I don't know why that even exists, but I've got a few that have a 7/16 head, and I've got a few that have a 3/8 head as well. But I have a full set of these. So that's what I'm going to stick with, I think. Just spotted my tiny screwdriver on the floor. Okay, that header's out. Now I may take, let's see here, what do we got? Take a flat file here and just kind of make sure, I know you can't see this. I'm just cleaning off the flange a little bit from old Rimflex gaskets. And I'm using a flat file to do it. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, we'll set that on the floor. Need to find, well, you know what we'll do? We'll start our, can't really see down there very good. Put that right there. Just light that up. Okay. I hope that wasn't too painful. It's probably the best part of 30-minute mechanic ever, because you didn't have to listen to me. But we'll come back and check these a couple of times before we're done, these header bolts, because these rim flex gaskets, I don't know if you can see this. I'll hold it up there. They're pretty thick. I mean, pretty thick, and they're pretty squishy. So they squish down really good, and they stay sealed really good. A friend of mine, known for a long time, Brant Campbell, said he used to run them on his the 7-second single turbo Camaro, second gen Camaro, and he always said he had really good luck with rim flex. So that's kind of what turned me on to it, to using them. But I think we're pretty much done with this side. Ready to hop over to the other side, and we'll do another time lapse of me doing that side. So now this side, I've actually got to crawl in there real quick and get that V-band loose so I can get the header off. And if I knew where my tool was, I could do that. Found it. All right, let's get down here. Take that nut off. Actually, my crossover pipe might just fall out of here when I do this, because it's the only thing holding it in right now. And also, oh, look out. So just spotted the prodigal header bolt. I think I may need that one. And my tiny screwdriver. Oh. Okay. Let's grab that header bolt now that we know where it is. Yep. That was the one I was going to need. All right, get these about one more little snugger here, and we'll be done with the headers. I might show you something else I'm fiddling with once I have a minute or two. Let me get that one that's really hard to get to one more time. Maybe. There we go. Oh, and I dropped my socket again. On the ground. Yay! All right. We got our headers on. Makes a guy happy. Man, that seems awful close to the spark plug. Huh. It might be an unforeseen issue there. These big plugs. Never in a million years would I thought that would be a problem. Huh. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're kind of at it. Oh well. We'll do some research on that too. There's all sorts of surprises with this car. Okay. Yeah, I know you've seen this motor on the stand behind me as I'm working. This is a upside down 552 cubic inch big flock Ford, and 4.5 inch stroker crank, Super Cobra jet heads. It's a good runner. I recently refreshed it, new bearings, new rings, everything else looked good. Regasket everything, but when I put the connecting rods in it, the package didn't indicate which rod bearing was top or bottom. So I just assumed, well, they're not marked in any way. They must be the same. Well, I was watching Junkyard Digs on YouTube. They were putting an engine together, and he started talking about rod bearings, having an upper and a lower. Well, I knew there was uppers and lowers on some of them. I didn't figure this particular set had it, but it piqued my curiosity. So what I did was I Googled it, and I looked it up, and sure enough, these particular rod bearings do have a upper and a lower. The part number on the back of the bearing is stamped in it. It'll have the part number stamped in the back of the bearing, the size and everything. But after the part number will be a U or an L. And that specifies whether it's an upper or a lower. And the reason they're different is the bearing itself has a small chamfer to it. Now, in these a lot of aftermarket crankshafts, the journals, right down here, the rod journals are filleted. They got a curve to them. Now, most OEM stuff is just squared off there. So the counterweight comes down, just square off to the journal, the rod journal. Now, aftermarket stuff, there's a fillet there. Now, these connecting rods are made to accommodate that fillet. and the bearings have a chamfer to accommodate that fillet. Now, I don't think there was really any issue with this particular setup. I don't know that they were interfering with the fillet, but I went ahead, pulled the pan back off, and checked the rod bearings, and sure enough, I had every single one of them upside down. I had the lower in the bottom. I had the lower in the top and the upper in the bottom. So yesterday, I switched all those around. I still got to go back. I'll torque the connecting rods, and then I got a new pan gasket I might put on. I didn't really screw this one up, so I may just put some new RTV on it and stick the pan back on, and then this engine will be ready to go back into my 83 Mustang whenever it's ready for me to put it back in. I got some work I want to do to it before putting this engine back in and resuming using it as my drag and drive or just fun race car or whatever. So that's the 552. It looks a little funny upside down. Probably the first time I've ever turned an engine upside down with the carburetor and air filter and everything still on it. Of course, all that stuff's empty. So, there's no gas leaking out anywhere. So but that's the big block we got sitting around over here. Well, that about does it for today on 30-Minute Mechanic. Not sure about the visor. Seems like it might have kept the sweat out of my eyes a little bit. I wasn't wiping so much and I wasn't dripping on what I was working on. So you may see it again. Maybe it's going to be a new mechanic thing. Mechanic visors. Who knows? I may start a trend. We got the headers on for the final time with our Rimflex gaskets. Hopefully never have to take them apart again. Do need to keep checking those header bolts after it warms up, because they will kind of squeeze in and seal up good. You got to keep kind of snugging those, make sure. But I think once they're set, I never had any problem with them coming loose. So headers are on. Hopefully the time lapse worked good for you guys today. And I'm also cooking up another idea for the throttle body here. Not sure how that's going to work, but I'm 3D printing another piece for there. I'll show that to y'all maybe on the next episode. Should be done. Actually kind of played with the idea. I got a 98 Mustang throttle body here, 65 millimeter, which ironically that's the same size as the hole in this Edelbrock intake. I kind of thought about putting that on there and run that because it's nice and compact. The TPS would need to be rewired, and the throttle cable operates a little differently. So I don't know if I want to do that or not. That's kind of in the maybe pile. Well, that does it for today. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, ring the bell, and we'll see you next time on 30-Minute Mechanic. Bye.